Hello, cats and kittens. Oliver Jose Yoroshko. I'm back in the Crisis Corner on Manga Monday with my impressions on One Piece chapter 1141, An Older Woman. We're continuing the build up to the conflict that we presume will be between first Luffy and company, probably with Loki, and then the lot of them against the Holy Knights, who intend to abduct children so as to bring Elbaf to heel under the power of the world government. So, in this build-up, we see that after having met Scapa Gaban and obtained the key to release Loki, Nami has returned to the feast, to the festival that's been thrown for the Straw Hats, the feast. Okay, she returns there, which I find kind of interesting because she understands, she was fully briefed on how dangerous Loki is supposed to have been in the history of Elbaf. She's got warnings. She's heard the warnings from Scapa himself that this dude is no good, not to be trusted. If he's released, he could cause damage, on a pretty high scale. And that Shanks himself had to apprehend this person when he was out at sea. He brought him down. I forget how many, a few years ago, he brought him down in chains and brought him to Elbaf, where he's remained under lock and key. So she understands that Luffy means to unleash this person. It's true, she only went to the castle because she thought that she could get treasure. But usually Nami is a creature of self-preservation, and if she knew that Luffy was going to undertake a course that would place her and the crew in danger, she would probably intervene or at least have some say in it. But she seems to have blown off the entire situation and is, kind of, bummed out because she didn't get her treasure and she's just going back to the party. Okay, I find that a little weird, but it is what it is. So we get one of a couple of Chekhov guns that we run into by way of exposition. Frankie is getting a tour of Elbaf, and he runs across. He's not with Gerda. He's with I forget the giant. I forget her name. One of the warrior giants. He's with her, and she brings out that there used to be a village in Elbaf that was on one of the branches that was destroyed by a lightning strike that lit up a fire that couldn't be extinguished, so they had to get rid of the entire branch. It's not explained where that lightning came from, or it's just said that it happened. She said long ago there was a village called Hogan on that branch. One day, lightning struck the village and started a fire, but when the branch gets old, the fire just never goes out. So to save the entire tree, they had to get rid of the branch. That to me suggests that maybe this is just speculation, but it could have been an attack by Emu. Maybe nah, not really, because if he wanted to strike, if all it took was lightning, and she even explains to lightning, she said to Frankie, she says, you might say that their vulnerability of Elbaf are fire and lightning. First of all, I wouldn't give out that information at all, but she gave it out because, exposition, plus Frankie's not a hostile character. But Emu's super weapon, maybe that could have been the cause of that lightning strike, because it seems to just come out of nowhere. And regular lightning doesn't seem to me to be powerful enough to destroy an entire or set an entire branch of a tree that huge to blaze to the point where it had to been cut off. It might have been them trying to eliminate a race of giants that lived on that tree or a village of giants that lived on that tree, or maybe they were trying to destroy the whole tree and couldn't get it done. I don't know. But it just seems like that's something that's going to come back up. It's going to resurface. So outside of that, we see Usopp is off getting drunk at the banquet. That's okay. That's not a huge issue. Sanji notices that Gerd is gone and goes off to find her, or is at least suspicious of the fact that she's gone or interested. That could just be because he's a pervert and he wants to be around her anyway or whatever. So there's that. Then we get the issue of where Road is trying to lie to it is Gerd, I believe. So she's treating the giants who were guards in the castle. They were defeated by the Holy Knights. They're unconscious currently, or at least asleep, unconscious. She's trying to get the story as to what happened in the castle. They were attacked. That's a red flag. There shouldn't be anybody strong enough to attack these giants, bust into the castle, attack these giants, and lay them out like that. If anybody's walking around like that, they should be accounted for, and that's logical on her in her place. And Roto, his whole thing is that he wants Luffy and Zoro to free Loki so that he can leave. He just wants him out of Elbaf because he doesn't like him and he feels like if he's rampaging someplace else, so be it. But she investigates the matter. She beats up Road or whatever his name is, and finds out what Luffy and Zoro are up to. Meanwhile, in the underworld, Luffy and Zoro have obtained the key from Scalper, and they're debating as to how or to whether to release him. Zoro is very practical. He's like, I don't know this dude. I don't know what he's about. He was chained up for a reason, whatever. Everybody until this point has said that this dude is not to be trusted. And he knows that he's playing Luffy. He knows that Luffy wants to meet Shanks. Loki has information on Shanks, therefore he's playing him just to get free. Luffy is suspicious of it. I mean, Zoro is suspicious of this, and rightfully so. Luffy is insisting on getting his way as per usual, and the two debate about that. I like the fact that Zoro goes so far as to kick Loki to make sure that he's not faking his injuries. As we saw previously, Gunko and Shamrock, I keep forgetting his name, the fake Shanks, they put the hurting on him. They used that Cerebus sword, and he took 3 gut wounds from these knives that may have been, I don't know, hockey infused, I'm not sure. But he took some serious damage. So Zoro kicks him to make sure that the wounds are not being faked, and they're not. So he sees fit to release him, at least under the provision that they leave his one leg chained, because he's chained with sea prism stone or sea stone manacles, which rob him of any ability to use. If he has a devil fruit, he couldn't use it, and I believe they block hockey. I believe they do, or at least disrupt hockey. So they're going to leave one leg chained and otherwise release him so that they can question him and get his story. That's kind of dangerous because they covered his eyes for a reason. If he has, like, I want to say dojutsu, I'm going into my Naruto bag, but if he has some kind of ocular ability, and that's why they covered his eyes, it might be related to um, observation hockey or something. Uh, you don't want his hands free. Um, yeah, I wouldn't bother with that. I just question him the way he is, or don't release him at all. Especially when you know that it took a pirate of Shanks' caliber. Not even to mention, did he do it by himself or did he have help from his crew? But to apprehend this dude, it took a cat of Shanks' caliber, and that's very, very dangerous thing to do. So a party led by Harridan and I believe who is on that? Sheridan, Roto, some others. Gerd is there, and what's that cat's name with the big mace? I forget his name also. Anyway, so it's about one, two, three, four, five pirates that came down to the underworld on a little boat. They were riding the clouds, apparently, whatever. The point is they were falling to their deaths. They came down there, uh, they were falling to their deaths because the clouds they were carrying there dissipated. They can't exist in the underworld, apparently. And they're falling to their death. This is an interesting bit because to prevent them from falling and crashing, Luffy does the Gomu Gomu no Fusen balloon and, cushions their fall. This is interesting because the scale of Elbath always, I ain't gonna say worried me, but it always found it interesting that they've never interacted with, not since they dealt with Oars, did they interact with characters on this huge of a scale. Or even if you go back to Marineford when Sengoku did the Buddha, the giant Buddha, and was going to crush Luffy and Ace on the execution stand, he did the Fusen, which was big enough to block that blow and save Ace from being crushed by Sengoku. That was a huge scale. This scale is ridiculous because these the boat that's falling is carrying 4 or 5 giants plus Sanji, and Sanji is really small when you look at him scale wise to everybody that's on that boat. It's just weird because when Luffy does the Fusen, he has to inhale a giant amount of air and use it to inflate himself. He inflates himself to such a size, to a greater size than we've ever seen before, to break the fall of this ship that was about to crash. I want to see that animated. I can't wait to see that animated because I want to see how they handle that. That scale is ridiculous, and we haven't even got to Loki yet. But anyway, he breaks their fall, and then Harridan reemphasizes the fact that you cannot release Loki. This dude, he said, since we was kids, this dude's been running around. He's this villain. He's this evil cat. If you let him go, it's going to be. He said he's an enemy of the world. He says. He says he's cunning, cruel, vicious, backstabbing, conniving villain, which we've heard said before by different people. This could be a misunderstanding, but it's a serious misunderstanding because everybody seems to be saying it. But it's too late. Zoro's already let him loose. He already uncuffed the chains, and only thing left that's holding him back is the chain around his leg. And then you get that final page, which is great, especially for scaling. Loki is free, standing in front of Luffy, and you get those Oars vibes. He is Huge. Even for a giant, he is huge. And for some reason, they felt that it was okay to leave his weapon, apparently called Ragnar, near him in the underworld where he was in prison. Because Harrigan tells him, take your hand off of Ragnar. I'm assuming that's a weapon that he's holding. So I think it's a weapon that he's holding. Why they put it down there with him, I don't know. I have to get a better look at this. Or look at it harder. Anyway, he's free. And that's a problem. Now we're going to get to see whether or not how damaged he is. Does he pose a threat in his current state, does he pose a threat to Luffy and Zoro and those who are assembled down there? Is he going to be in any shape to square off against the Holy Knights who are going to attempt to kidnap those kids? Does he care about those kids and the fact that the Holy Knights are going to attack them? We know for a fact that due to the damage that they brought against him and his friends, the animals down there, he's out for blood anyway. I mean, he's coming off bloodlusted, off rip. He's going to kill on sight. The minute he sees any of them Holy Knights, he's going all in. Question is he in any shape to do anything about it? So we're going to get to see, at some point, we're going to have to get to see what Loki can do. And if the Straw Hats, especially Luffy and Zoro, do they pose a threat to him? That's important because everybody's going to have to square off against the Holy Knights to save the kids. And I'm assuming the Holy Knights scale to a level of Yonko or close to it. So it's about to pop off. It's about to pop off, and there's no break this week, so we're going to go straight into the next level of this invasion, and I want to see how it plays out. So let me know what you think. Is he actually holding a weapon? Which I think he is. I think it's the butt of an axe is poking out from behind him, but I don't see a handle or an axe handle or a blade of any sort. Anyway, but he is smiling. He has this wicked smile on his face, which means maybe the damage that was dealt to him from that attack, maybe it wasn't as serious. I mean, it was serious, but maybe he bore it well, as Wolf would say, and is not as damaged as he let on. Either way, he wants revenge on the Holy Knights, and I want to see him get it. Let me know what you think. Looking forward to the next chapter. Until next time, stay loose. Hey folks, thank you for visiting Jose's Crisis Corner. And as you know, not only am I the host of Jose's Crisis Corner, I write the Intrepid and Shonen Double feature series for C3 Comics. And if you'd like to learn more about this series and support the work that I do, please visit my Patreon page. You'll find lots of information about my characters and the books that we produce, and I hope to get your support. Thank you as always for visiting the Crisis Corner, and until next time,